ton of toys up there and open a bunch of stuff up. And then we go outside and we're playing and they're skateboarding down this hill and making it look so easy. I'm like, give me that thing. I'll show you how I do it. I didn't get very far. We'll leave it at that. Kind of went flying, got a mangled ankle and a broken leg and a couple smacked up wrists. And that's about it. But I'm back in action and I'm going to be back on that skateboard. You better believe it.
Is that their first time on a skateboard or?
No, it's been a long time though. And the kids, man, it's pretty much their fault because they make it look so easy. And then when it's time for me to take a swipe at it, I'm down on the ground. So even the 6-year-old was laughing till he realized how bad it was.
Yeah.
But no, it's okay. Yeah. I just got to tell you, if you're a grandparent or a parent, comes a time where you may not want to skateboard. You may want to make good choices, as my niece says, that I don't, but you might want to do that. Virtual skateboard. Yeah. I don't know. I can't help it. But that's why I got to wear the helmet now because Mrs. Jack's saying I'm so accident prone. I got to wear this thing around all day until the moon goes through retrograde or something.
Well, Jack, I hit a big milestone while you were out of action there. Check
Yeah,
that
lay
out.
it on me, Daddy.
Crossed $50,000 for the year right there in my
Nice.
account.
Nice.
$50,000 in profit. So
Now, what happened? Because it was at 36 or something?
it was at down in the 40s. I
Okay.
got called out on a couple things and booked that profit. Like Nike got called out right there. The big one was getting called out on Dollar Tree. We kind of talked that one up for a month. I
Hmm.
finally got called out, booked that big $6,000. That
So,
that
so
jumped it up there.
that's a real good point right here. A critical point is that you're not buying back the call to prevent yourself getting called out. You're taking the call out.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you might have taken a loss buying that call back, but keep the stock position, right?
yeah.
So by not doing that, that's something everybody should take notes on. That's a smart move. Take that call.
I just let it pay me out and on to the next one. Just on to the next one, on to the
Mhm.
next one. And so that's pushed me up to 50K for the year. Of course, the challenge is 50K a month. And right
Yeah,
now, 3-month average running around $8,000 a month. So still got a ways to go, but definitely on the way. On the
yeah,
way.
yeah. Good stuff. And Nike worked out even after the earnings news.
Yeah, look at that. We're up above 60. I had a 60 call sold against it and got called out at 60. So
Hmm. 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 Yeah, I got called out of Microsoft at 482.50. I did not buy that back. I just let it go. Uh, I had a pretty good gift though. I got called out of AVGO at three 350, and I was able to, and it closed at 352.13. It was only 13 cents in the money. But I was not feeling good, and I just let it go. And I got called out at 350, and I was able to buy it all back this morning at 348.89. So that's a real gift. I always love getting called out and able to buy it back cheaper
there you
and
go.
start it all over again. I also put out a naked put, cash secured put, I mean, on AVGO at 335. Um, I like that a lot. I might lay into that a little heavier today.
Yeah, it's on down there a little bit. Yeah, we could, I hate to say it, but we could definitely come on down and visit that roadmap line right there sometime in the next week or two. But
Hmm. Yeah, I remember that every time I put that trade on there, you tell me it's super good
we haven't
pull.
touched it yet. We haven't touched it yet. So there's still that potential that we could come down there and touch it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. I still got a lot of dry powder. I'd back up the truck if it got down there.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be down there around 320. So
Hmm. I see MU on there. I bought a little MU this morning.
yeah, that's lofty, but we could take
Lofty.
another step higher up to about 358, maybe even up to 415, I think.
Wow, that's a big jump. I'm
Move up
just gonna
there.
take a little 10, 12% move on this and move on.
Yeah, I got in down here at 99 and then got out at 200. And I've just been leave it alone. That was a pretty good jump for me. So
I like these trends though, you know. That's what I like on this one right now.
yeah, I mean, it is a nice trend. It's at all-time highs, and keep on going. So
What else did I do? KLAC. I took a position in that.
ALAC.
And I'm going to write some calls against this one.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in
K
almost that one
K
didn't.
KLAC.
KLAC. There we go. KLA. Yeah, we haven't seen you in almost a week. So
I know. A lot of catching up to do.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Just
I
kind
got
of.
that. Fermi. Got my Fermi cooking. The craziest story. My nephew Jack, he's into stocks a little bit. He's getting his MBA, Florida State, and he sits down next to me at Christmas dinner, and we're talking, and he brings up, "Have you ever heard of this stock, Fermi? FRMI?" First of all, what do you think of Clack before we get into the Fermi?
I don't really have much. I mean, it's lofty. We're sitting here at the banging at the all-time high.
Yep.
Potential to pull back, but if we can break through, we have upside potential too. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of a coin flip a little bit right here.
Yep. I'm just going to take a little top off this and let it go. I'm not going to get too serious with Clack.
If it can push on through, maybe 1320, but it does have potential to pull back into this consolidation. So, and then we haven't been down to the orange roadmap line since back in May, so that's always a potential too.
Yeah.
And then Fermi FRMI.
Yeah. So he sits down next to me. I don't know how he found this stock, but he starts talking to me about it. And I was blown away. I started telling him I'm ever doing everything I'm doing with it. And now he's going to get a little more active with it too, which is cool. But I don't let him get too carried away. He's too young for that. Just a little messing around. Nothing too serious.
Yeah, real estate investment trusts though don't typically move very big. So
Yeah, that's the thing about this Fermi. I'm not so sure this is a real classical real estate investment trust. I saw a lawsuit came out. Some law firm is bringing a class action lawsuit against them for going public without having a real company. But yeah, it's a weird deal right now. A lot of weird story coming out. I own a couple few hundred shares. Dennis is asking, and I sold the 10 strike price calls, and I sold the 750 strike price puts.
I think this is the one I was talking about the other day.
Yeah. So the story behind the story is that I think it was Amazon that backed out. This whole thing was predicated on them having a tenant when they went public, a tenant they were going to lock in right after the IPO. And since the IPO, it's just dropped. And the law firm saying the whole thing is a charade and nothing more than a business plan.
Yeah, they've got the real estate though locked in. It's right. It's here in Panhandle,
Yeah.
Texas. And let's see, where was it?
The only thing I could think is the lawyer himself from the law firm must have got
Yeah, it's
ripped off on the IPO because it's straight down from there.
yeah. So what's interesting is we make all of our nuclear warheads right here, and they're actually got the property all the way around that nuclear warhead production plant. So it's all, and they've actually got orders. They've put in orders for three, I think three of the G1000 uh, Westinghouse um, nuclear reactors, and they're supposed to install three of them like right here next to this plant. So,
What's powering that warhead plant now?
I mean, I don't know where they get the power from, but they manufacture nuclear warheads there. So,
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. I'm going to let the story play out. Like you say, I love how you say it. You got to let the share price sufficiently bum people out, or I don't forgot how you put it, but the
yeah.
firm they're throwing in a towel on this thing.
Yeah,
And
Fermi has rights for like all that property in the red right there to build an AI data center around that nuclear warhead production facility. So,
yeah, the question I saw was I going to stay with the 750 put? Absolutely. I got paid a buck oh 04, I think, for those. And it's just ridiculous on the calls. So I'm going to stick with it. I think that gap's got to be filled in somewhere. I think the story will come out more, and we'll see what happens. But I'm still playing it. This is all in the whole portfolio of the breakdown IPO gang. Everything from Chime to Figma, Fly Aerospace. I know I am a trend guy, Chris, but we've seen so much junk reversal, IPO reversal that as a the speculative side of me wants to take some crap shoots at this. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just diversifying a little bit away from my typical trend plays and just taking shots. Total 100% speculation. I don't know anything, but I know when these things get pulled back, they can tend to bounce pretty good. This one may have seen the bottom,
Yeah, we
right?
talked about that last time you were on here. I guess it was 2 weeks back we talked about this, and I put on a play down here at 18
Mm-hmm.
and for 75 bucks for this
Mm-hmm.
Friday, the first Friday in 2026. And looks like I'm up $74 out of the 75. And they have that stupid nickel orders. So there's no way I'm taking there's no way I'm paying $4 to close my my call that should be or my put that should be a penny. So I'm
I know.
just gonna ride it out on that one.
Yeah, I put on another one there too. Um,
But
it's
this
been pretty good.
has still has upside potential to
I
36 or
think so
so.
too. So Fig, if you look at FIG, that's another one in this bag of blown up IPOs. This one, it looks like it's me trying to find a bottom here.
Yeah, that's classic bottoming action. It's possible that it already confirmed,
Yeah,
but
real disappointer though, from 130 to 30.
could dip one more time and then set the bottom in there.
Yeah, so Fig, Fly, Chime was the other one, and Circle.
Circle,
Circle was the fourth one.
CRCL, a user PC. If you hold on just 1 second, I can get you that number. I have it in my Discord under the FAQs. And Jack, you can keep talking. I'll go dig
Yeah,
up that number.
Circle, that was my other bad IPO. Trying to play that one. Look how it just shot up straight on the get go and pulled back. And again, nobody really knows what the story is. And that's kind of intriguing to me. Shows a lot of upside. So that was Circle. And then Chime was the fourth one, CHYM. And that's a Chime. The fintech field has been tough, but this one's trying to claw its way back from 16, 17. I've been in and out of this one several times, but that might have seen its bottom too. And they just look different than MDLN.
Now
You know,
this has a bullish pattern. Most of the time I'm talking about the bearish corrective patterns. This has a potential for a 3. This may do a little bit more pullback back down in this area and then go for another move up, then do another correction, and then go for a bigger move. So it may have a couple weeks of chop in this area between, say, 20 and 30, but then be able to break out and go higher in 2026.
yeah, it's been that's a tough field. That fintech market has been really tough. And if you look at MDLN, this is a story of a very clear picture of what the business does. There's no surprises. These guys make wheelchairs and crutches and everything else, and that's easier to follow than a story like Circle, where you really don't know what the full upside is.
Yeah, so there's a petition from big banks to reopen the uh, they called it the Genius Act back in July when they passed it, and there's a petition to reopen it and renegotiate the terms of the bill that they passed back in July for the stable coins. So the Genius Act was, the act that got passed that required stable coins to invest in treasuries and kind of set the stage for all that. And the big banks are getting a little upset about their, I guess, guaranteed money printing.
Yeah.
If so, that now the likes of Coinbase are stepping up and saying, that's a red line that we shouldn't cross. We shouldn't go back against, shouldn't reopen that, renegotiate that at all. But so that is out there for 2026. We should keep an eye on that. If that Genius Act gets repealed or, changed, that could change the game for Circle and Tether and other stablecoin issuers.
How
So
would it change it?
it just depends on what happens. Like, I don't know. Um, they could renege the whole thing, and then now they're back into a regulatory gray zone. So um, we just don't know what's going to happen there. But the
Yeah,
big banks got ruffled a little bit on that one.
Visa's all in. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But again, they're really not a bank, but they're controlling a bank. And then MSTR, man, I tell you, I just never seen a thing keep going down.
Everybody talked about whatever that candle was right there, the hanging baby or whatever the whatever they call that candle right there. And I saw that posted so many places, all sorts of mainstream media, all sorts of stuff. And it seems like to me, anytime everybody's talking about the same candle pattern or the same whatever being super bullish, the market loves to just destroy everybody. And that's exactly what it did right there. So took it all the way back, even stopped it out a little bit below. Still has potential to go down to 140, possibly even 120 on the downside.
Yeah,
But
it's this thing is kind of becoming decoupled from Bitcoin, also, right?
well, Bitcoin is just doing nothing, really. Just doing a bunch of nothing. That's what I would say. We're just kind of sitting here consolidating sideways. And it's not confirming higher, not confirming lower. There was some big blah, blah, blah on social media last week about this giant OPEX that was going to take place on Friday. It wasn't really that big. It was only, a couple $1 billion worth of notional value of Bitcoin. And options on Bitcoin just aren't really a thing. Okay.
Mm-mm.
I think some social media influencers latched onto a story because, we had the biggest OPEX in history at like some ridiculous 4 point whatever trillion dollars in the stock market. And it sounded great that there was going to be some giant OPEX right for the end of the year for Bitcoin. Like that made a great story, made a great thing that people could latch onto, but it just wasn't the reality of there being many options traded on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's done exactly nothing since that Friday early expiration on Friday morning. So, Saturday, nothing, Sunday, nothing, today, nothing, Friday, nothing. I mean, we're just sitting in here. Now, we're at lower highs. That's bearish. We're at higher lows. That's bullish. It's kind of what I call a watermelon seed squeeze, kind of squeezing it in here. You don't really know which way it's going to pop, maybe higher, maybe lower. You look at the bigger picture, we're down. Continuation of the trend would be down. So be careful. We can definitely pop it on down to 75,000. If you've got exposure to crypto and you can't handle a visit down here in the low 70s or mid 70s, maybe you should lighten up. I'm in it for the long term right now with everything I've still got. So we'll see what happens.
Good stuff. Yeah, I just sold some. What did I sell? Some on IBIT. I sold the what did I sell? The 52 call.
Yeah, I think I sold a 52 call against my shares and just keep bringing in that premium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that expires Friday. Sold some more AVGO. Sold some more Hood. Sold a bunch of NVIDIA. Sold a bunch of VRT. IBM.
I
Yeah, look at this
sold
thing, man. This thing just, I'm still in it, but it's been a money payer and it has not moved.
I sold 36 calls at 24 strike for this Friday, brought in over $800 premium. And it looks like that was a good play right there.
Yeah, it really is. Has the beta gone down on this?
It has eroded just a little bit. We're down to 3.3.
It's still been great,
Still smoking hot.
It's
Yeah,
still smoking hot.
Tesla itself has declined a little bit from where it was. We're down to 295.
But the
So
the TSLL is still such a great play because you got all that upside baked into it coming up, and the price is great for cash secured puts. Way more affordable than doing that than on against Tesla stock. That's one of the things I love about the TSLL. And both sides, you could do the cash secured, you can do the covered call, and go long it. I'm long a little because I think it's going to get a good pop at some point, and I don't want to cap it with a covered call. But then I got another big piece I got covered calls on, and then the cash secured puts part. So this has everything I want.
yeah, I think so many people are playing this right now, looking for that big pop that it just, it's almost back to what I was saying a minute ago on MSTR. Everybody expecting the pop, and so the market just does the most damage it possibly can do to the most number of people. And so we may see it struggle through the January 16th OPEX out here where a lot of people played. And this could just mess around in here before we actually get a pop. We do have earnings coming up on Tesla there later in the month in January.
How does
And
that implied volatility curve look on these options?
yeah, so we can look at that. Yeah, it's interesting because it's actually chilled out a little bit.
Wow, it really has. That's the
Now,
opposite of what it was doing.
yeah, now we've got the earnings coming in out here in January. So it's started to be opposite. We kind of chilled out for the holidays. Well, I saw that coming too. Like, um, it almost is played in, because we got this lull that showed up. It was out here about a month, and now we've pulled that in right here. So, you may have to play out a couple weeks to get the best premium on TSLO, at least till we get through earnings next month.
Hmm. Still, I'm doing it every week, just so everybody knows. That
That's what I've
implied
been doing.
volatility structure, that can change, but I'm not going to change.
Even though this is down a little bit, we're not actually that much down. This is only a few percentage points.
Yeah, it's
So,
still been a good pair. Still
and
number one.
and the beta is still 3.3, which is ridiculously high.
Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah, Jack, one I thought about talking about that may be a big performer this year or next year, I mean 2026, Celsius. People are like, "Do you like it because you drink the drinks?" No, I don't drink the drinks. I just like it. I was chasing after it late last year and got involved, made a nice little pop here, got out around June when we popped in here. And from this time on, I was expecting a pullback. Well, we finally got the pullback. We've established the bottom, we made a higher low, and now it's time to start looking at this for the next run higher. We could be
Yeah,
looking at this thing going from the 40s to the 120, 130 area pretty
get my
easy.
pen. It's a good one.
And this one could be like a 3Xer right here. Could be a good performer. We're talking about 300% upside on that one, just on shares. So this could be a very nice upside play in 2026 right here. That's Celsius. They do make energy drinks. Monster has been Monster Energy Drink, which is the ones I do drink, has been pretty much the best stock for the last 30 years. You
No
can
kidding.
say, yeah, it's just the most consistent, longest, biggest uptrend the
Wow.
last 30 years. Look at this thing. Like,
That's a well-run company because drink is one of the toughest businesses to make work.
so
Really, that's management right there.
look at this thing the last 30 years.
That's amazing.
And this is just if you're in this industry and you're good at managing your share price, it can be a very lucrative place to be.
That is a great
And
trend, Chris. Yeah. Wow. Those guys know what they're doing. It's a hard racket, man. And especially the non-alcoholic stuff. That is a tough business.
so
And
this
right
one
there, great management. Where did Celsius get their management from? Do you know anything about
I
the story?
I don't really know that. I'd leave that up to you, Jack, to kind of dig into. But you can see their long term back here. They made a bottom somewhere in the early 2012. Right at the back of the Great Financial Crisis, and they've been ripping pretty good since then.
Wow. I didn't even know they were alive back then. I just thought it was a recent thing, Celsius.
Yeah, so they've been on a pretty good uptrend, and I feel like this pullback that they've just finished is probably run its course, and we're about to embark on the next leg higher here. So
So I'm going to play this too. What are you going to do? You're going to do a spread, option spread trade,
I'll
naked
probably
flip?
be in it with puts. I'm probably going to roll in here, around
But
the
you
30.
missed the upside if you don't get it.
Well, I'll probably chase those puts for several weeks, and we look at the beta. It is running a little light right now, so I'll definitely have to be careful. I may have to go a little closer to the money, but
Yeah,
I like to get paid to get into it. So,
I do
you know,
too.
you can do your research and come back. We've got all week to talk about this. We can we can bring it back, and you can share what you found and what you think you play.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I will. I'll look into it. I had a couple of these. My buddy drinks a lot of it, and first couple sips tasted great, but then about a half an hour later, it gave me a terrible stomach ache. So I don't know what's in it, but I'm not
I
having.
say you might not like that, or you might have an aversion to the green tea extract. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. The difference between this one and Monster is that Celsius has green tea extract, and that can be toxic to like 20% of the population.
Wow.
So
But it's carbonated or something too, right? Not
yeah,
just tea.
it's got carbonation, and it's just like all the rest of the energy drinks, pretty much. Like a little bit of carbonation, a whole lot of chemicals, and
Mhm. Is it caffeine? It's not an energy drink. You can't drink energy. What are they? What is it? Is it caffeine or
it's probably caffeine and taurine and whatever the other ginseng and all the other stuff. So,
what about Red Bull? How's that thing hold? Is that even a publicly held company? These drinks, I don't follow
oh,
them.
I I don't know Red Bulls.
Damn, that Monster story is impressive. That is a hard business, man. I read a story about a guy that sold two businesses to Coca-Cola, and
Yeah, Red
both
Bull's private. Yeah, so Red Bull you can't invest in Red Bull. You got Monster, Celsius. Um, I heard Death Water was a good one. Let's see. Let
Death
me s-
Water.
Liquid Death. Yeah, let me pull this one up. Their
Remember
ticker.
that? Remember that Four Loco thing that had all that caffeine and the alcohol? College kids were going crazy on it. They pulled it off the shelves, even Washington State.
Let's
Bad
see.
combination, a bunch of alcohol and tons of caffeine in the same drink.
Let me see. LIDE. Yeah, they don't have it on here. Oh, it's on a private exchange. Liquid Death is when that comes public, it's supposed to be a interesting one.
What's in it besides nothing I want to put in my body?
It's it's just flavored water, funny enough. It's not like an energy drink. It's
Hmm.
let me see if I can find the page for it. And Murder Your Thirst right here. It's
Murder your thirst.
yeah.
Are they doing a pre-IPO?
They're on Hive with a I
Oh, and
with
have
a yeah,
yeah.
with a private offering or whatever. So
So
this is
we
supposed to be an up and comer when they come public. It's supposed to be possibly an IPO in 2026.
murder your thirst. All right, I'll be on the lookout for that one.
Does Monster only sell its number one energy drink? They have, I mean, I got a whole set of cans down here that I, I
Different
don't know what
brands,
else
or,
they sell.
or is it all under one brand, or do they have other brands?
Everything I drink is the Ultra, which is the sugar-free drinks. So, um, I don't know anything else they offer, but
You ever put a little shine in there?
not me.
Mix it up.
They do have a I guess they licensed it to a some kind of malt beverage producer that they have a Monster malt beverage. So I don't know. Whatever.
Coca-Cola, I own that one. That's the only drink company.
I do own shares of Coca-Cola also. Let's see. Monster has verifying you're human. It says they have energy drinks, zero sugar coffee drinks, juice drinks, tea drinks. So it looks like they're just a drink company. That's it. No other chips, no other nothing, just drinks.
Hmm.
So unlike Pepsi that has some other brands, they're just on the drinks.
Wow.
Anyway,
I
so that's
see Chipotle's advertising, right as that press release said, they were going after the high protein buyer and trying to rebrand that stuff.
oh, there you go. And then if they can fill that gap and then get it
Yeah.
back above that roadmap line, we can turn this boat around. So this one may come back in 2026. We'll see what happens. Um, I'm I'm not betting on it until it starts actually doing the bullish things here. We got 3 levels that we got to do. Got to get through that gap. Got to confirm the gap, get through the roadmap line, back test it.
You're not doing anything yet?
I mean, I'm in the shares, but I'm not gonna double down or triple down or push any harder until we actually confirm that this bottom's in place. Right
Hmm.
now, it's just one move up off the bottom. There's no retrace. There's no higher level, higher low thing.
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna wait. Just gonna
Yeah,
wait.
probably not a bad bet.
And Chewy here, right now this one does have a higher low in place. If we can hold on to it, we can break back through that roadmap line right there, back through that prior spike, get through the 618. This is also one that could perform in 2026, but we're still down here in a downtrend. So,
Hmm. How about VRT?
yeah,
I don't know if I'm too
VRT.
heavy. I don't know if I'm too heavy in this or what.
Now, what I like here is that we hit the roadmap line and we just hit it and bounced, and we came up here. Now, this may do a double bounce and touch again right down here in the 152 area. We've got the high here. We've got the low right there. We've got the resistance coming up here at 178, 179. If we can get on the upper side of that, looks good for continuation up to about 210 area.
That'd be good for Jack.
So right now, though, with this stall out, it could retrace a little bit, possibly retest the 152 area, and but the upside resistance right in there, and then this high, of course, we got to get through as a confirmation. So need
Yeah.
need to get through that 187 or one whatever it is 178 area, and then through that 190 area where we topped out back in early December, and that's what I'm
I,
looking for on
yeah,
VRT.
I like that. I got an odd lot in here, which is I got 35 shares that are just hanging out there in the breeze. Normally, I like to have round lots, right? Either acquired from a cash secured put or, let you sell a covered call. But here I got these 35 hanging out. So it's like, I don't know, 435 shares. I just want to either clean this up a little bit or go in heavier.
Yeah, so if we dip right there, it might be an opportunity to add your other 65 shares,
Hmm.
get you a clean 500.
That'd be beautiful. That'd be really beautiful. Oh, I see you got SCCO on there. I just picked some of that up too last week. Is that one you trade?
Now this is my morning list right here. It was
Oh,
on the
yeah. Wow, I'm loving this thing.
in my morning list. I find the most active tickers, and that's where a lot of these came from. The things that were moving today. So SCCO sit up there at you love those 52-week highs on an uptrend. That's what we got right here.
Hmm.
And if we take a look at the monthly chart pattern here, we didn't consolidate for 3 months, so could have a little upside to it. The pattern that I follow on this monthly chart, when you bring up month, you put the chart to monthly so that each bar is a month. When these things are making 52-week highs, they take a break and consolidate for 3 to 6 months, and then they make a new 52-week high after that. They will go on to outperform the S&P by 30% on average for the next 6 to 12 months. So This one didn't do the 3 to 6 month consolidation. It just did a 2 month or did a 1 month consolidation and broke out again. But it is an uptrend. It is a 52-week high, and it's hard to
Everything I
argue
like.
about. Hard to
Yeah,
argue against that right there.
everything I like. Yeah. And the only thing I'd like to do is how about a spot copper ETF and compare SCCO to the spot copper?
Let's see, spot copper. That's copper
That's the
miners.
only thing I didn't do because the price of this copper, when you're a miner, it's basically what can you get it out of the ground for versus what's it going
Mm,
for.
mm, 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 mm. I'm trying to let's see.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's just miners. I was didn't
Miners,
spend
miners,
enough time
miners.
trying to find a spot copper.
Copper pure play.
Yeah, but they're all miners. That's weird. Like SLV or GLD, there should be a COP.
Yeah, there's just not miners, miners. Yeah, everything's a miners.
When you got miners, then you got accounting garbage. You got employees, you got insurance, you got leases, you got heavy equipment, fuel costs. Too much room for shenanigans in the accounting when you're dealing with a commodity miner, right? Spog.
That's on Spotify, not on. Yeah, it's all miners. There's not
It's
a spot
weird. I
copper.
know. That's why I don't know really how this SCCO matches up to the underlying, so to speak, right? You take a gold miner and you could compare it to GLD, easy, or silver miner,
Here's how
LV.
here's how you compare it to the futures,
Hmm.
and look back to the beginning of the year, and it's outperforming the spot copper.
Good. Keep going. Pays a little divvy too, I think.
And pull it back to 24, and it's outperforming quite a bit.
It popped up on my new high list, and that's why I bought it.
Yeah. So that's just compared to the futures on copper. Yeah, copper futures aren't really popped out right now. So yeah, comics put the halt on the silver breakout this morning. After the close on Friday, they announced that they were going to raise the margin rates this morning at the open. Historically, that puts the halt on a breakout rally, and that's exactly what's happened so far.
Wonder why they did that.
Because there's 300 times more paper futures than there are actual ounces of silver in the COMEX vault right now. So they're overexposed on their futures and on the SLV paper. So there's 300 times more silver paper than there is actual ounces of silver in the vault at
Mhm.
COMEX.
Not good.
And so they raise the margins to try to shake out some weak hands, I think. So don't need a bunch of people
Get
looking
that.
for delivery when you don't got the
No
metal to
kidding.
deliver.
No kidding. That's exactly right. Look at that parabolic chart. That can't hold up either. Nothing goes straight up like that and stays up.
So that's the games that get played, though, everybody. Comex can just decide to up the margin required to trade silver,
And
and
that's a black swan event when no one would see coming.
so there you go. And that just happens to be in the price zone for topping out for now, and we could pull back all the way into the 50s area right there.
All right. I need to get your analysis on SPY.
Yeah,
We're going to have a
spy.
Santa Claus, what's he doing?
Santa Claus
Hit you with
rally.
the sleigh? Did he
Santa
call
Claus rally
it?
typically ends the day after Christmas, which was Friday,
I'm telling you.
which is right where we topped out with an all-time high on SPY
Funny, funny looking. I don't
right
feel
there.
it. I don't feel Santa Claus coming. He's on vacation in
Uh,
Florida.
that was last week, Santa's last week.
I'm
This
telling you,
we got the
I just
New
don't
Year
feel it.
coming this week.
I don't feel it. What I'm seeing more than on a New Year is maybe a really good reset, a really surprise drop somewhere in that first week of the year, of the new year. I
Let's
definitely don't see a
see.
Santa rally running. Yep. I'm doing a ton with NVIDIA there, Mr. PN.
Yeah, see, this right here is the 20-year seasonality of NASDAQ in particular. These these blocks are 2%. So we usually get a nice little run that Santa week, the week of
Hmm.
Christmas, and then we pull back into the end of the year on NASDAQ. And that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Yep. And it shocks people because that run right before the pullback is just so euphoric. Right there, right there. Yeah, that gets people thinking about all kind of new stuff. Cars, boats, houses, and then boom.
And we
Yep.
rip it a little bit. And then the beginning of the year starts out choppy again. So we may have a choppy January for big tech.
How much emphasis do you put on seasonality? I personally don't. They talk about September being bad, and September was awesome. I
Well,
just
I
want,
mean, any given year can either go with seasonality or go against seasonality. Um, but when you have a big strong trend like July here is, for the last 20 years, it's typically rises about 4% in July. It's hard to argue with. When you get something
Mhm,
choppy though, like January, maybe it's opportunity to outperform, or maybe we get a choppy January.
mhm.
So that's just kind of one of those things. So, and then
Hey, Jeffrey, real quick, kind of off topic. Do you have the link for your market roadmap, like download that you could post for someone?
um,
Just whenever you can. No,
we
no
charge
rush on it.
we charge $5 for that. I can throw the link in the chat here. If
That
you're
would
a
be great.
if you're a subscriber, the link is in the members area or in Discord. Let's see, jeffreytrader.com slash. Here's the $5 link. We sell it for $5. I have the code available for free on YouTube if you want to watch, if you want to go there. But if you're not a coder, you just want to click a button, it's $5.
There you go. That's a good deal. All right, I'll leave you guys to it.
All right, there you go. And so right now, Jack, NASDAQ, this is a downtrend.
It is.
That's lower highs all the way across.
Hmm.
And this, like you said, could open up the door for a surprise bigger pullback.
Yep. A real shocker. The shock would come that it would happen fast and deep, but mostly the speed of it, that's what takes people by surprise, like how fast that happened. You can't get out, right? It's already down. What are you going to do? You're going to watch it. Yeah, I see it coming back. And that would be really healthy.
You talked about, when SPY and QQQ cross over, and I kind of feel like we're close to that happening.
Has that happened yet? Because that's a really bad sign.
It just depends on what time frame you're looking at. Like since November, QQQ has been way underperforming. And when we topped out right there at
Six
the end
six
of
months, I know.
October, now 6 months, we'll have to roll back to June, right there. And
It's
we're
normal.
just hanging out
That's normal.
really close.
Yeah. But go back, show them the good people what I was referring to in 2022 when it crossed over.
Yeah, we can roll back here.
That was like Katie bar the door because it's all coming down. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. I can vividly remember talking to Tom Busby, and I think it might have been the market master himself, Tony Saliba, and Roger, saying, "Dudes, this to me, my whole life, QQQ's traded better than SPY, and now it's below that, and this is not normal, and it's not good for a bullish perspective, but it's great from a bear perspective." Look at that right there in February to no January across below.
Yeah, like after
Whoa.
we got that peak and it started down pretty violently right there and toward the end of January,
Yeah.
started outperforming to the downside.
Yeah. And then you see that second run, if you go up from there, straight up from there, that piece down, that was too good to be true. I really could not believe that because during that part, that's when everything that was a triple digit stock that had no earnings. They were just getting beheaded, and
Yeah, I mean,
it was great. It was great to short, but this time I'm going to go with a put spread like you did on Rigetti. I
yeah.
like it better than going straight short because I can already tell there's going to be problems with hard to borrow stocks when I lay into this thing. So I don't want that anymore. And I'll just do the put spreads like we did with Rigetti.
And
But I'm going to go after the same ones. I got my whole list. I'm building it up. And when it happens, I'm just going to have my own little ETF already built of triple digit stocks that have no E.
it gives you more time and it gives you more flexibility. And it paid out better.
Paid out way better. That was the other thing. I mean, it was really easy for me to hit the spaghetti short. It wasn't hard to borrow or anything, but the return you did 4 times better than I did. The only time I would have done better is if it would have happened at a slower pace and the options wouldn't have worked. But you hit it. The timing was impeccable. But
Sometimes I get lucky, knock on wood, you know.
you get it right, and you say you're lucky, but you're lucky because your hard work. The harder you work, the luckier you get, right?
I pay attention to these things. I follow the same patterns all the
Yeah.
time. I don't wander around looking for new stuff all the
No,
time. I just
me
focus
neither.
on the same things all the time.
And that's
And
a good point. I just read a story about a guy that I don't know spent close to $30,000 on trading courses, and none of them were really related. It wasn't like he was building on a foundation of education with every new thing he bought. It was like one thing was forex, one thing was crypto, and just all over the place in his approach. And none of them really worked. And in addition to the money he's down trying to trade it, he's down on the expense of buying the courses and the education. And that's what I love about what you're doing here. It's not glitzy or glamorous, but there's no reason to move away from this. It's something you could do for life. It's not hard. It's easier than directional trading. Yeah, it's got everything going for it you would want.
yeah, that's the thing. Like I came up, both of us came from basically nothing. For those that don't know, Jack and I both came like a similar background of not having a golden spoon in our mouths, not, nobody gave us big hedge fund accounts or anything like that. We both got here a different path, but um, you know, coming up like that, you don't have a bunch of money to buy indicators and classes and courses and all that sort of stuff. That's one reason why my roadmap indicator right here is like $5. I want people to be able to have a very powerful thing that works. And if you just pay attention to what I say about it and the lessons I have about it, it can be a very, very powerful tool for predicting where the price is going. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be picking this up in a week or two or three. I've been doing this for a lot of years. And, it's kind of like the plumber you call. You don't call the plumber that just graduated plumbing school to come fix your toilets at 3 in the morning. Um, you call the guy that's been doing it for 30 years and seen some crap, literally. Um, so pay attention to me. I provide lots of free content and show how this stuff works. And as Jack says, I tend to get lucky, but it's a lot of preparation and a lot of practice, and I
I don't
get it
think
right.
it's luck. I don't think it's luck because you've done it too many times, right? If you did it like, you shoot a half court basketball shot one time and it goes in, that's luck. But if you do it 100 times in a row, like you do with this stuff, it's not luck, it's skill. You've got a skill now. You learned it. But that roadmap for all of you out there, that thing speaks volumes. I mean, you can listen to Jeffrey every day, which I recommend you do, but you can also just eyeball that thing and look where is the stock relative to that roadmap, and it'll tell you a lot. First of all, is it up or down? Right there.
Yeah, I mean, if we're above it or below it, that's kind of sets your stage for an up. Right now
Yeah.
we're in an uptrend, but we've been in an uptrend for a long time on this thing.
And part of the reason we're in an uptrend on this thing a long time is because it's a manipulated index. This is not the same QQQ from days ago. It's constantly being refreshed with new stocks, only stocks that are going higher. Same thing with SPY. It's a completely rigged index. And they want it to just trend higher. They don't want it to be all over the place. So This one being tech, they grow faster, they have higher earnings, higher margins, so forth and so on. So I love it. I love QQQ. I love the tech market. Um, I don't really trade SPY. I got one great strategy for that, but QQQ and the tech market sector is what I like.
We should talk about your strategy. You took that out of beta and put it out into a real thing. I
Yeah.
think Blake has got a replay for us here. We
Yes,
should
we
we should
should.
share more information about that.
Yeah,
I
because
do.
there's going to be another trade coming up on that thing in about 3 hours. And so everybody's got plenty of time to get familiar with what we're doing with these options. It was probably one of the biggest breakthroughs I've seen, and I can't remember when. Again, though, these zero data expiration options didn't exist. So we like that. We like that new tool and how it's working great with SPY.
That's right. Well, if you guys are ready, I can start that right now.
Thank you, my man.
Right. You're very welcome. I'm gonna take the screen
Hey,
back
did
here.
you
Just
miss
bear
me
with me.
last week, Jeffrey? Before you cut off,
Yeah, I missed you. I miss you all the time when you're not here.
Yeah.
Even if you're on with somebody else, I miss you.
Oh, hey, nothing personal, but yeah, sometimes they match me up with somebody else. All right, dog. Yeah, Gregory, I missed all you guys too. I was thinking, you were doing the show. Did you do it even last Friday?
Last Friday we took the day off. I was actually under the weather, so it worked out good.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Blake and I powered through last week when you were
cool.
out
We
injured
did.
Man, it
on
is
the.
hard to hold your leg in the air or have it, being held up like that for you. That's a no good, very bad position to try to sleep in. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I got that going for me. All right,
I feel
then.
you.
I'll be
All right.
back after tomorrow.
All
See
right,
you, man.
everybody.
All right. For those asking about the upside down option, this is it right here. I'm about to share with everyone. So yeah, I broke my arm recently, and well, I shouldn't say it was about a year ago. That was awful because I sprained it too. I'm sure Jack probably had something similar. So, all right, here we go, folks. Without further ado, I'm starting this.
Now, obviously, the performances displayed here were both in real time and in